Hi, I'm James Floyd Kelly, and I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the latest in Arduino. This episode, I'm going to talk to you about the Beginning Arduino book by Michael McRoberts. It's a good book. I'm also going to talk to you about one of the hot products at Maker Faire, which is the Maker Shield. And then finally, I'm going to be chatting with a special guest, and this is someone who many of you may be familiar with, especially if you are a Make magazine reader. So thank you for joining me in this episode, and let's get started. The book I want to tell you about in this episode is called Beginning Arduino by Michael McRoberts. Take a look at the book before you buy it, maybe at the bookstore, and flip through it and see what's involved and what you'll need to purchase, because it can be a bit of a sticker shock when you add up everything you're going to need to buy if you choose to do all the 50 projects. The Beginning Arduino book is 400 plus pages, and it comes with 50 projects. The 50 projects run the gamut from just simple lighting up LEDs to line following robots to reading and writing to an SD card. And the author has done a really good job of providing accurate wiring diagrams. They're black and white in the print book, but there's a color insert at the very back of the book for all the key figures that you'll need. I'm very impressed with the book, and I'll tell you why. I have been working through the different projects. I'm currently up to about project 30. I've only had one or two that actually I wasn't able to work. One of them, I believe it was my error, and the other one definitely was an error in the code. And the author contacted me and provided the fix for it, which was really nice. This is the Maker Shield from Maker Shed. And these are the components inside that I'm going to solder up. The first step is to add the LEDs to the circuit board. Solder these up. Put some beads onto the LEDs here. Now I need to add the resistors. They are labeled on the board as R1 and R2. Next you have to add the push buttons. They snap in. I've already put one in, and I'll put the other one over here next to the red LED. Put some solder on the push buttons. Next is the two little capacitors. Next I solder on the small IC-SP header. The legs go through the circuit board and will be soldered. Now I need to solder on the 3.3 volt to 5 volt jumper pins. Next is this 8-pin header with the short legs. It goes on the outside of the board near the logo. Next is the 4-pin header with the short legs, and it goes right next to the IC-SP pins right here. 4 pins here. 1, 2, 3. Now I've got the stacking header pins. There's 4 of them. The last step is to solder in the potentiometer that controls the 3.3 or 5 volt setting. So there's the Maker Shield all soldered up, and here is my Uno. I'm just going to test the headers and make sure that the shield can actually insert onto the Arduino Uno, and it can. One of the things I wanted to show you about this was on the Maker Shield you have this nice center area right here which has a lot of little holes that are solderable. But if you have the Mintronics Survival Pack, inside it is a small mini breadboard with a sticker on the back. You peel the sticker, stick it on the Maker Shield, and you have a little mini breadboard right there in the center. From Make issue 22. That's JD on the cover. He goes by JD. Your name is John, though, right?
That's right, John David.
John David goes by JD, and he is the builder of the LawnBot 400 that was featured on the cover. This is the Arduino-controlled or remote-controlled lawnmower. Well, let me move away from the LawnBot because that's not the focus of what I wanted to talk about in the video. I was on Instructables.com a few weeks ago, and I noticed that you had posted a new item. You're basically going to the store and purchasing very inexpensive remote control cars or trucks that have what they call tank driving capability. And you're converting these over for using an Arduino so that you can control them either with your phone or through a computer software. Is that right?
That's right.
And Josh, you were involved in this. Can you tell me a little bit more about the programming behind it?
Sure. So JD, when he was doing the Arduino code, just built it so that it would accept X and Y coordinates for basically a vector that would say which direction the robot should be driving. And then provided a serial interface so that we could send those, a command for X and a command for Y to set the vector.
If I follow your instructions on Instructable, if I get this straight, I could go down to the thrift store, look for a little, $1, $2, $3 remote control toy, follow your instructions, bring the Arduino in, bring the Bluetooth, modem or adapter into it, and with your custom code, I can control that through my Android phone. Is that basically it?
Yes, that's correct. It would currently also require your computer to be connected to the Arduino to act as the web server.
Okay. Do you have a website where readers can come and follow and read more about this, maybe see some videos or download the code, things like that?
I do have some videos of the first Bluetooth bot that I told you about with the Bluetooth adapter on YouTube. Okay. My username is JohnDavid400. Also have a website that's ridiculouslygoodlooking.com.
Okay.
Spelled with an E, but it's got all of my other projects that I've documented.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you have anything sitting close by that you could hold up and show us?
Yeah, we've actually got one of the larger second versions of the Bluetooth bot, which is, we can give you a small demonstration. Let us pull it up real quick. So I don't know if you can hear it, but
I can hear it.
Tilt the phone, it'll...
Now, is the speed of the motor related to the angle or how fast you tilt?
It's related to the angle.
What are you going to do with this? Is it just sort of just a hobby, see if you can do it, or do you have some bigger plans involved?
Well, right now it's hobby. We're definitely pointing in the direction of doing something productive with it, something more fun, maybe something that we could market.
Sure. I mean, this thing would scale, right? I mean, you could go bigger, bigger, bigger.
Sure.
It just depends on the strength of the motors.
Yeah, I've actually got an old car. I might decide to remote control one of these days.
Let me know if you do, and we'll come back and do a follow-up, okay? Thanks for joining me for this episode of The Latest in Arduino. There's an email address at the bottom of the screen. If you have an Arduino-related project or book or website that you found interesting and you might like to share with others, please send it to me, and it may be featured in a future episode. And then finally, I wanted to give you a hint about episode 3. The hands-on project for episode 3 is going to be me building the fume extractor from Jamico and MakerShed. In the previous 2 episodes, you've seen me blowing the fumes away from the soldering. It's time to make a fume extractor. So this is going to be for episode 3. Thanks again for joining me. I'll see you next episode.